The victim was later identified as Elizabeth Short, a 22-year-old aspiring actress who had come to Los Angeles with dreams of stardom. She was a striking figure, remembered for her jet black hair, contrasting with her pale complexion and a penchant for wearing all black. These distinctive traits would later earn her a haunting posthumous nickname, the Black Dahlia. Elizabeth Short's story began as a tale of ambition and hope, emblematic of many young women who flocked to the City of Angels in the post-war years, dreaming of making it big in Hollywood. Yet her dreams were brutally cut short in a manner so shocking that it sent ripples of fear across the city, turning her into an overnight sensation, albeit for all the wrong reasons. It was a shocking tale of dreams turned into nightmares, of a life cut short, and a city gripped by fear. Little did anyone know, this grim discovery would lead to one of the most infamous unsolved mysteries in the history of American crime. Before she became a chilling headline, Elizabeth Short was just another woman with Hollywood dreams. Born in the industrial city of Medford, Massachusetts in 1924, Elizabeth was the third of 5 daughters. Her father, who built miniature golf courses, disappeared when she was just 6 years old, leaving her mother to raise the family alone. Elizabeth was known to be a beautiful girl with striking black hair, pale skin, and captivating blue eyes. Her striking appearance, coupled with her love for cinema, ignited a passion for acting. She dreamt of seeing her name in lights, her face on the silver screen. Thus, like many others, she was drawn to the allure of Hollywood, the city where dreams were said to come true. In her late teens, she made the bold decision to move to California. She was a regular at the Hollywood Canteen, a nightclub for military servicemen where she hoped to be discovered. She took up various jobs, including waitressing, to keep herself afloat while she pursued her acting career. Yet, Elizabeth's life wasn't all glitz and glamour. She struggled with money and often relied on the kindness of friends for housing. Despite her hardships, she remained hopeful, never losing sight of her Hollywood dreams. She was known for her resilience, her spirit undeterred by the harsh realities of life. Elizabeth was last seen alive on January 9, 1947. She was 22 years old. The hopeful starlet, full of dreams and potential, would never get to see her ambitions realized. Her life was about to take a dark and tragic turn. In the days that followed, Elizabeth Short would become known to the world not for her acting prowess, but as the victim of one of the most notorious unsolved crimes in American history. She was no longer just Elizabeth Short. She became the Black Dahlia. Yet the hopeful starlet's life was tragically cut short, her dreams forever unfulfilled. Now let us delve deeper into that fateful morning of January 15, 1947. Los Angeles was still asleep as dawn broke over the city, its sunlit streets unaware of the grim scene about to unfold. In the quiet neighborhood of Lymert Park, a woman named Betty Bersinger was out for a stroll with her 3-year-old daughter when she spotted what she initially thought was a discarded mannequin. Upon closer inspection, she realized to her horror that it was not a mannequin, but the lifeless body of a woman, bisected at the waist and left in the vacant lot. Elizabeth Short, posthumously known as the Black Dahlia, was found in a state so gruesome that it sent shockwaves through the city and beyond. Her body, drained of blood and scrubbed clean, was laid out almost ceremoniously. The corners of her mouth were slashed from ear to ear, giving her face a chilling, clown-like appearance. Her body was mutilated and posed in such a manner that it seemed the killer was taunting those who dared to solve the case. The police were on the scene within minutes, their initial reactions a testament to the horrifying sight. Seasoned officers, hardened by years on the force, were taken aback by the brutality of the crime. The lot quickly became a hive of activity as detectives, forensic experts, and photographers descended upon it, each trying to make sense of the shocking tableau before them. The media too swarmed the scene, their sensational headlines casting a macabre shadow over the city. The murder of Elizabeth Short was not just another crime, it was a spectacle, a gruesome display of violence that gripped the public's imagination and refused to let go. The horrific state of her remains was just the beginning of a complex puzzle that continues to baffle investigators to this day. As the shocking news spread, the Los Angeles Police Department found themselves under immense pressure to solve the case. The Black Dahlia murder had gripped the city in a vice of fear and curiosity, and the pressure was mounting. The initial stages of the investigation were as frantic as they were meticulous. Every inch of the crime scene was combed over, every possible clue inspected under the unforgiving lens of scrutiny. It was a gruesome tableau, but the detectives knew that within the horror could lie the key to solving the case. Among the clues found at the scene was a heel print, thought to belong to the killer. Detectives also discovered a cement sack nearby containing watery blood. Each piece of evidence was painstakingly catalogued, promising leads that would hopefully unravel the mystery. As the police delved deeper into the case, the newspapers were filled with lurid details and rampant speculation. The media's portrayal of the case, while sensational, helped keep the public's interest alive, turning the investigation into a spectacle that everyone was watching. Yet, despite the intensive investigation, the leads were frustratingly sparse. The police followed every potential lead, interviewed countless persons of interest, and consulted with numerous experts. But the clues were elusive. The leads often led to dead ends, and the identity of the killer remained hidden in the shadows. As the days turned into weeks and then months, the fervor began to cool. The investigators, once hopeful of a quick resolution, found themselves faced with a daunting reality. The Black Dahlia case, once a hotbed of activity, was gradually turning into a cold case. Despite their best efforts, the leads were scant and the case gradually turned cold. The Black Dahlia's haunting smile continued to taunt the city from the newspapers. In a twisted turn of events, the murderer made contact. It was not enough for the killer to commit such a horrific crime. They felt compelled to communicate with the authorities, to taunt them with their impunity. The Los Angeles Police Department and local newspapers began receiving letters, each one more chilling than the last. At first glance, these seemed like the delusions of a madman, but as the investigators delved deeper, they found a terrifying coherence. Each letter was an intricate web of deceit, filled with cryptic clues and menacing threats. The writer reveled in the panic they were causing, feeding off the fear and confusion. They would often include personal details about the victim, details that only the murderer could know. This was a game for the killer, a game they were enjoying. The psychological impact of these letters was profound. They added an extra layer of fear to an already terrified city. The killer was not just a faceless monster, but a cunning, manipulative individual who was playing with the police and the public alike. The letters also offered a glimpse into the mind of the killer. They were cold, calculated, with an undercurrent of sadistic pleasure. There was a certain arrogance in the way the writer taunted the police, as if they were certain they would never be caught. The investigators analyzed every word, every phrase, every hint, hoping to find something that would lead them to the killer. But the letters were as elusive as the murderer themselves. They were a maddening puzzle, full of contradictions and dead ends. The letters were a chilling reminder of the killer's audacity, his confidence in his ability to evade justice. They were a testament to his cunning, his ability to manipulate and control. These letters, meant to taunt the police, only deepened the mystery. Over the years, the Black Dahlia case has had no shortage of suspects, a mosaic of intriguing individuals, each one with a tale to tell, and each one connected to Elizabeth Short in some way. Let's begin with Robert Red Manley. A salesman and an acquaintance of Elizabeth, he was the last person known to have seen her alive. His guilt seemed plausible, but after passing a lie detector test and having a solid alibi, Manley was cleared of any wrongdoing. Then there was Joseph Dumais, a soldier who claimed to have had a blackout and woke up in San Francisco with blood-soaked clothing, shortly after Elizabeth's murder. His confession seemed chillingly real, but his claims were ultimately dismissed due to lack of solid evidence. And how can we forget about Dr. George Hodel? His own son, a former LAPD detective, accused him of the crime. Hodel had the surgical skills to carry out the gruesome mutilation and was known for his dark sexual preferences. However, despite the compelling arguments, no definitive proof could link him to the crime. Another prominent figure was Leslie Dillon, a bellhop and aspiring writer with an unnerving knowledge of the case. His detailed familiarity with the crime scene raised several eyebrows. Yet after an intensive investigation, he too was ruled out. So who was responsible for the brutal murder of Elizabeth Short? Was it one of these men or someone else entirely? The list of suspects was long, but the evidence was always insufficient, and the puzzle remained unsolved. The Black Dahlia case presents a grim tableau of the human condition. It's a story of a young woman's life cut short, a city in fear, and a list of suspects that reads like a who's who of mid-20th century Los Angeles. Despite numerous suspects, no one has ever been charged or convicted for the murder of Elizabeth Short. The identity of her killer remains one of the most haunting mysteries in the annals of American crime. As with any unsolved crime, the Black Dahlia case has sparked countless theories and speculations. Now let's delve into some of the most popular conjectures surrounding this enigma. One widely circulated theory suggests that the killer had surgical skills, evident from the precision of the cuts. This led to speculation about the involvement of doctors, particularly one George Hodel, a prominent Los Angeles physician at the time. Hodel's son, a former LAPD detective, even wrote a book claiming his father was the murderer. Another theory proposed by journalist Steve Hodel points to the surrealist artist Man Ray. The argument here is that the gruesome staging of the crime scene bore a striking resemblance to some of Man Ray's disturbing artwork. However, the fact that Man Ray lived in Paris at the time of the murder makes this theory less likely. The underworld wasn't exempt from suspicion either. Some believe that the Black Dahlia was the victim of a mob hit. Elizabeth Short, the woman known as the Black Dahlia, was known to frequent nightclubs, and it's speculated that she may have had connections with the mob. This theory, however, lacks solid evidence and is often dismissed as mere conjecture. Then there are the theories put forth by amateur sleuths, ranging from the plausible to the outright bizarre. Some suggest that Short was a victim of a love triangle gone wrong, while others believe she was the casualty of a botched abortion. One particularly wild claim even suggests the involvement of Orson Welles, the famous director, simply because he knew magic tricks that involved dismemberment. However, despite the multitude of theories, none have been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and the case continues to captivate and baffle investigators and crime enthusiasts alike. The question remains, who killed the Black Dahlia? As we've traveled through the labyrinthine passages of this case, we've encountered a myriad of twists and turns. We've delved into the tragic life of Elizabeth Short, the woman behind the infamous nickname the Black Dahlia. We've been privy to the chilling details of her gruesome end, a discovery that sent shockwaves through the city of Los Angeles in the winter of 1947. The investigation, as sprawling and complicated as the city itself, was marked by a series of baffling letters allegedly penned by the killer. This ghastly correspondence, filled with disturbing details and cryptic clues, only added layers to the already complex case. Scores of suspects have been scrutinized over the decades, their stories examined and re-examined in the desperate quest for answers. Yet despite the countless hours spent by dedicated detectives and armchair sleuths alike, a definitive answer remains elusive. Theories and speculations abound, each one more enthralling than the last, each one promising to shed light on this dark tale. And yet the question still hangs in the air, as palpable as the smog that often blankets the city of angels. Who killed the Black Dahlia? This unanswered question continues to captivate the public's imagination, the enigma of Elizabeth Short's untimely death refusing to fade into obscurity. The fascination persists, as potent today as it was over 75 years ago. Perhaps it's the allure of the unsolved that keeps us riveted, or maybe it's the sad tale of a young woman's life cut tragically short that keeps us coming back, hoping for justice, praying for closure. But until the day that this question finds its answer, until the day that the truth is finally unearthed, the Black Dahlia will continue to be a stark reminder of the mysteries that lie hidden in the shadows. Until these questions find their answers, the Black Dahlia will remain one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries in American history.